My name is Nellie P. Strowbridge, and I'm reading from Ghosts of the Southern Cross. This book was a finalist in the Heritage and History Award in 2015. It tells the story of two courageous women who survived the death of a brother and a lover when 174 men were lost on the Southern Cross. The news was made official in newspapers on April 14. Joe brought a newspaper home to Caroline. She stared at the black headlines. The Southern Cross is lost. News spread like a black plague. People rushed to the post office, their panicky voices seeking confirmation for what they had heard. William stood among them, his head down. Is she found? The young fellow who had wanted to go on the vessel asked. No, me lad, an old sailor said, swallowing hard. The young fellow jerked his shoulder up as if to ward off bad tidings and left mumbling, a night in ashes this is. The wicket of the post office finally grated open, and the postmistress lifted a bundle of letters tied with a string, the borders of the white envelopes in black edging. The truth of that terrible moment ran through the crowd standing near the counter. They let out a gasp and moved back. The restless movement of the crowd and the chatter came to a halt. Let anyone through who's got a sailor on the Southern Cross, and anyone who had one on the SS Newfoundland, the postmistress called in a solemn voice. Her hands shook as she slid the string off the bundle and the letters settled on the counter. Her voice cracked as she began calling names. No one moved, and the letters were passed hand to hand to a reluctant relative, passed like a raised axe to descend with a swift blow to split their hearts. The weekly mail was seen as a means of connecting in a letter with a relative or friend in Canada, Boston, or elsewhere. These letters would disconnect families from home. Peggy Green had 2 sons on the Southern Cross. When she opened her letter and read news of her sons gone forever, she ran out the door of the post office and up over the hill, stumbling from side to side. She flung herself on the ground, crying and pounding the hard earth. Hurry, she'll break her wrists, someone yelled. Her brother ran and hauled her up. She fell back down on her knees, her knuckles blood-crusted. Adam's name's not on the letter with his father's, another mother cried. He has to be alive. Hope was dashed like a wave against a rock when a voice asked, then where would he be all this time? I was dying to get the news of the ship's whereabouts, her wife sobbed. Now it's come to kill me. William's name was called. He felt the blood drain from his veins and fear caught in his throat. His face drawn and gray, he teetered back on his heels as if a north wind had come up and driven him into him with a terrible force. Then he straightened up and reached to take the black bordered letter passed over the crowd to him. Finally, after the postmistress, her face solemn, had distributed all the mail, she closed the wicket. It was as if a blind had been pulled over a window in a building where death had occurred. The people standing outside, holding black bordered letters, knew that letters carrying the same news were arriving in St. John's and in communities beyond the Avalon. Church bells began to toll, and a black flag was run up the public pole, a chilling sight. No lamplight showed in any window to break the night in ashes. Thank you.